What's up Retro fam, and welcome back to another episode of Retro FIFA. If you don't know the deal by now, this is the series where we go back and look at the older FIFA games and see how they actually hold up against what we get today. Now if you caught the PES 2013 episode over on the Retro PES side of the channel, and if you haven't, go check that out right after this one. You'll know I could not stop talking about how that game might genuinely be peak football gaming. I don't think there's a football game out right now that captures what PES 2013 captured. Nothing comes close. But anyway, that's a conversation for another video. After making that one, I needed to know how FIFA stacked up during that same era. So before we get into it, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, because you guys are literally the reason YouTube pushes these videos out to more people. And while you're at it, drop a comment telling me, FIFA or PES, which one do you think was better back then, and why? I want to see the debate in the comments. So with that out of the way, welcome to episode 3 of Retro FIFA. Today we're diving into FIFA 13. Like always, we start with the menus. And if you remember the menus from the last FIFA we covered, this is going to look very familiar because it's basically the same setup. Not identical, but close enough that you can tell it's the same DNA. It actually looks like FIFA took inspiration from these older menus when they redesigned FIFA 22 and 23, just with a more modern coat of paint. Like I said in the last video, I really like this style of menu. Everything is right in your face, nothing's hidden away in 5 zip menus, and the layout is what does it for me. Those bottom tiles with a player rendered in the background looks clean, even now. Obviously, you're not going to see any of the Ultimate Team ads that would have been plastered all over this back in the day, because, shocker, the servers for a 14-year-old game are long gone, and going through this again, it really hit me how long online features have actually been the core part of these games. Most of what's in this menu needs a server connection to even function. The only things we've actually got access to here are kickoff and career mode. Everything else is locked behind servers that have been dark for years. Before we get into the training arena, let's talk soundtrack. And unless I'm wrong, this might be one of the best soundtracks FIFA has ever put together. FIFA fans, correct me in the comments if you disagree. But I think this lineup is genuinely great. This is the kind of soundtrack that made you want to sit in the menus a little longer than you needed to, or take your time setting your squad before kickoff, just so another song could play out. FIFA soundtracks in general are always stacked. Sure, after enough hours you learn every track on the list, but they never really get old. Every time one of these comes on, it still hits. Jumping into the training arena now, and honestly there's not a ton to say here that I haven't already covered. If you want the full breakdown, go check episode 1 of Retro FIFA, the FIFA 14 episode. I go into detail on this exact training arena there, because FIFA 13 and FIFA 14 share the same one. I'll knock out a few free kicks here, and then we're moving on to the big one, career mode. Let's start with player career. I'll walk you through it. First thing you do is pick the team you want to play for. And I hate that part, I really do. Then you move into career settings, where you set your difficulty, in-game currency and all the usual options. Before we go further though, quick shout out to a nice little detail. Look at that dismantled ball sitting in the background. Every time you switch teams, the color of that ball changes to match. Small touch, but I really appreciate stuff like that. After career settings, you choose whether you're starting with a created pro or a real-life player. Since FIFA 13 and 14 are so similar, I'm going with a real player. This time around, if you want to see the create a player process, that's in the FIFA 14 episode. And we're putting the most loyal man in football in a Dortmund shirt, Marco Reus. I didn't touch on this in the first episode, but I actually really like this newspaper-style loading screen. Reed's old talent for new season here, which tracks, because Reus had just renewed his contract with Dortmund at the time. Not exactly a shock. I think it probably says something along those lines no matter which real player you pick, but it's a nice presentational touch regardless. Now look at these menus. Coming back to this career screen after all these years genuinely caught me off guard. This looks beautiful. Old school, classic, just a clean layout. You've got all your options and your upcoming fixture on the left, the full league table on the right, and world news sitting in the middle of the screen. And right at the top, the whole header is styled in your team's colors, team name, player name, position, and overall rating, all laid out clearly. Everything you need is right there in front of you, and I really like what I'm seeing. Overall, the player career experience isn't bad. I'd call it solid. It plays out exactly how you'd expect the FIFA career mode to play out, if you know what I mean by that. And that's, honestly, why there was always this ongoing complaint about player career barely changing year to year, sometimes not changing at all. I think that finally started shifting around FC24, when they added a few new layers to it. Now let's get into manager career. Same deal as player career. You pick the team you want to manage first. Since Manchester City are actually licensed in this game, we're going with them, which is something I never really touch on in these videos. The fact that FIFA has almost every license under the sun, not all of them, but most, and that's a huge part of what makes these games feel authentic. I know in PES you can add licenses yourself through edit mode, but on console that's pretty limited. You can't add things like the actual scoreboard or trophies, if I remember right. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. Anyway, after career settings you move into manager creation, and just like FIFA 14, it's extremely minimal, no face creation, just 2 outfits to choose from. I guess there is no real reason to build out a detailed manager model if you're never actually going to see them in game, which is strange, honestly, because we know the PS3 had the horsepower for it. We saw it firsthand in EA's 2010 World Cup game, which actually had manager and fan shots. So why that never carried over to the main FIFA titles is genuinely a mystery to me. Either way, that's all we've got to work with on the creation side. The menus themselves are identical to player career, but like I said, I'm fully on board with that. There's a classic retro feel to these screens that I really enjoy. If you know exactly what I mean by that retro look, drop a like right now. I see you. One thing I do hate about this career mode though, you can't sim through the calendar in PES. It constantly interrupts you for world news or transfer dealings. I can't really complain about the transfer stuff existing, but the frequency is out of control. Every single team seems to want a player from your squad, and the worst part is that there is no reject future offers option in this game, so you're manually rejecting the same club for the same player over and over. There's one more thing I want to show you here. Look at this squad layout. Tell me this doesn't take you way back, like PS2 era back, with those in-game player headshots sitting right there on the squad screen. That hit me with a wave of nostalgia I wasn't expecting. Let's move to the next segment, the graphics. But first, let's try and sign Neymar. Onto the graphics, and they look pretty similar to FIFA 14, though you can clearly spot the improvements between the two. Not massive, but noticeable, especially in the player models. The faces are genuinely impressive. Just look at the hair on young Neymar here. That's good work for the time. You know exactly who you're looking at the second you see the faces of players from the bigger clubs. Where it falls off a bit is with the generic and lower tier players. Those don't hold up nearly as well, but I'm not going to be too harsh on that given how old this game actually is. And honestly, for its time, that level of detail was more than enough. Stack it up against today's games and the graphics still don't look too shabby at all. A kid who grew up in the late PS4 era might look at this and assume it's a PS2 game, even though we all know the PS2 physically couldn't produce visuals like this. But that's really all there is to say on the graphics front. I've never actually broken down the presentation in either of these two series before, but after seeing what FIFA 13 does here, I knew I had to bring it up. This time, the fact that this game had the ESPN broadcast license makes it even better. Take a look at this. That's a little animation package, probably carried over from the previous game. And honestly, I don't care where it came from, it's great. It genuinely gets you hyped up before kickoff. Tell me that doesn't look good. And for some reason, at some point, EA just decided to strip all of this out entirely. I have one question. Why? I guess we'll never actually get an answer. Now let's talk gameplay. And honestly, I did not expect any other game to hook me the way PES 2013 did. But I was wrong. I put over 6 hours into a single sitting on this game, just grinding career mode. There's a difficulty factor here that pulls you in and doesn't let go, and it's hard in the best possible way. Scoring is genuinely difficult, which makes every goal feel earned. Not every match plays out the same either. Some teams you'll cruise past and others will make you feel every second of pressure. Honestly, this plays closer to PES than it does to a typical FIFA. It still feels like FIFA when you're playing it, because it is FIFA, but that sense of reward after scoring a goal is something I usually only associate with PES. And notice I keep saying PES, not a football, because to me, those are not the same game. They feel completely different, full stop. But back to FIFA, this gameplay is genuinely excellent. Outside of everything locked behind dead servers, I think this is a genuinely great game. That retro look combined with gameplay. This rewarding is enough to keep you hooked for hours. This feels exactly like a game built in 2012, and it captures the feeling of that era of football better than most games manage to capture their own era. The presentation before kickoff, the difficulty curve, the rewarded system, this game nails it across the board. If you want to relive the 2012/13 season, this and PES 2013 are the two games to do it with. Look past the graphics, focus on the gameplay, and you are going to have a genuinely great time with this one. Alright, let me leave you guys with a few clips to close things out. Stay safe, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye, Retro fam!